Hello, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Sada. So something happened yesterday with Evie, and a lot of you know who Evie is. She's my big golden retriever, and it made me start thinking that I need to write a story. You know how much I love to write stories, and I feel like it's been too long. And then this thing happened, and I was like, oh my goodness, I have to write this. So it made me think, I bet some of you are missing writing stories. So I thought maybe you and I could work together to do that. But you're going to need a few things. So let me give you a little list of things you need to go get, and we'll get you all set, and then we'll come back together and we'll write a story. So all you need is paper, a pencil, or a pen, either one. Let me tell you a few ideas for getting paper in case it's a little short-handed at your house. If your parents have a printer, you could borrow 2 or 3 pieces of paper to write a story. Ask before you borrow, though. Maybe you have some lined paper somewhere in your house. Lined paper is just fine for writing stories. It would work perfectly. Maybe your parents have gotten some mail that is blank on one side. You only need this side, so you could even use that kind of scrap paper, and it would be recycling, which we love to do. As far as pencils and pens, it could be highlighters, it could be pens that mom has in a drawer, it could be markers, or it could be pencils. Okay, so go off. I want you to collect that stuff. Now, while you're looking, you might want to grab a little container or a Walmart bag and get some extras too. If you happen to see crayons, markers, glue stick, tape, stapler, any of those things, grab those up too. They will be helpful, but they're extras. They're not necessary unless you have them available. Now, before you go and start collecting, please check with whoever's taking care of you today to make sure that it's okay. I don't want you rooting through any junk drawers without having permission. All right, I'll see you back here in a few minutes. Hello, boys and girls. How'd you do? Did you find some paper and a pencil or a pen? That's all you really needed. So one of the things that I love to do when I go to start a story is I want to have everything ready to go. So I'm thinking that I want to get my book all set so that as soon as I get done coming up with my ideas, I'll be able to start writing. Now, one of the things that I really had to look for was a stapler. I know we have one in my house, and I had to look and look and look. And finally, I did find it. So if you're one of those lucky people and you found your stapler, that's great. Just take your 3, 4, 5 pieces of paper, staple them together, and you're all set. Now, if you're one of those people like Mrs. Sada who really had to look, you can just take your pieces of paper. And I learned this trick. I don't even know who taught it to me, but you can just bend the corner over like this and then do a little tear. Ooh. Or if you have scissors, you can do a little cut, little snip, just a little one, little snip, like that. And then you fold it over, and it's just like having a little staple in there. So if you really want your pages to be stuck together, you can do that. If your fingers aren't quite strong enough to do it, like mine were kind of wimpy, you can have somebody help you with that, okay? But then your book is stapled together. So I think what we'll do, I'm just gonna start by having a 5-page book. Some of you might want to start with 3 pages. It's up to you. But let's start talking about, now that we're on the starting block and we have our paper ready and we have our pencil or our pen ready, what do we do next? Mrs. Sada just happens to have a really great story idea, and I'm going to tell you about that in a second. But let's pretend like I don't have a good story idea. What you can do is take one of your blank sheets of paper and put your starting idea. Maybe it's somebody that you spend a lot of time with, like your grandma, or maybe it's somewhere you like to go, like your backyard to play. But put a big idea right in the middle of the paper. I put Evie, because Evie's going to be the main character of my story. And then what you can do is come up with other ideas that would go along with that big part of your life. So one of the things that I have, one of the stories I love to tell, and I know you guys know this, is Gotcha Day for Evie, the day that I got her as a tiny puppy. So that could be one idea that I could do. Ooh, I'm thinking maybe we could do, the time that Evie got really, really sick. She had surgery and it made her have an allergic reaction underneath her chin and she got really, really sick. So I'm going to put Evie got sick. That was a great story because we met a lot of really awesome people that helped us learn how to take good care of Evie, and I had to do lots of things like stay up all night with her, and so it really had a lot of really good details in it. Um, hmm, let's see here. I don't know. There's lots of things I know about Evie. I could write an information book on how to take care of Evie. Yeah, I think I'm going to add that. So I could go on for quite a long time coming up with ideas to write about Evie, but I'm going to add the story that I really want you guys to know. It was the day Evie ran away. That was yesterday, and it is quite a story. It actually helps me decide that I only need one Evie. I was thinking about getting a friend for Evie, and that yesterday completely changed my mind. That's another reason it's such a good story. So I'm going to put the day that Evie ran away as one of my last ideas, and then I'm going to start telling that story and getting ready to write. So I want you to go ahead and be thinking for a minute. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to think. Who, what do you want to write about? And come up with a good story idea, and I will be right back. Hello, boys and girls. I hope you have your idea now. I really gave myself a little time to think about how I'm going to write this story that happened yesterday with Evie, the day Evie ran away. And one of the things that helps me plan my story, there are a few different ways. Sometimes I tell my story across my fingers. Sometimes I use a booklet and I talk through, like, what am I going to put on the first page? What am I going to put on the second page? What am I going to, and I talk through my story to help me get my thoughts organized. Sometimes I just tell a friend or somebody that's around me. I explain my story and that helps me get my thoughts organized. It's just a quick plan. And sometimes it changes a lot as I start putting the words down. But let's try a couple different ones. So I'm going to talk my story through on my fingers and kind of tell you the story also. So yesterday I opened up the sliding glass door to let Evie out. And before I could blink my eyes, she took off running and barking, and she was headed right for the road. So I chased after her and realized that what she was barking at was a lady that was walking up the road with her own dog. I yelled, "Evie, come here!" And she stopped and she looked at me and she sat there for a minute. So I thought, oh, she's going to be a good girl. So I went out towards her, out through the mud, getting my feet soaking wet. And about the time I got to her, the neighbor made a loud bang sound. And it must have startled Evie because she started running in a circle and then she darted up the road. And I went running after her. Mrs. Sada is not the best runner in the world, just so you know. But I went running after her. But every time I would get close to her, she would take off again and again. And I was saying, "Evie, come, come." And she just kept going. And then a car started coming towards us. And she was sprinting right towards that car like she wasn't even afraid. Thank goodness the car stopped. Then I got to her and I went to grab her and she started back down the road the other way. So I started running after her. Then this wonderful, sweet, I'm going to call her a hero, woman stopped on the road, opened up her door, got out, shut the door, went like this to Evie, and she went running to her and she caught Evie for me. When I got down to her, she said, "I'm a golden retriever lover too," which was wonderful. And so she helped me get Evie back in the driveway and got her into the house. I can't tell you how grateful I am for that woman helping me with Evie. So that's just a quick plan for my story, and it'll probably change as I write it. as I get more ideas and more details, and I can add more sounds and things that I was thinking and feeling. But it's just really good to start your story with a plan. You can do the same thing with your pages. Yesterday, I opened up the sliding glass door, and before I could blink my eyes, Evie took off running and barking. And then the next page might be, I went running out around the house and realized she was chasing or wanting to chase a woman that was walking her dog. But when I yelled, Evie, stop, she did. Until, and then I might turn to the next page. The neighbor made a loud bang sound, and I think it startled her, and she started running in a circle. So you see how I planned it on my fingers. I talked it through page by page. Then I took my blank book and I talked it through page by page. You can do that very same thing. So the first thing you really need is those easy supplies, paper, something to write with. Then you need an idea we came up with the day that Evie ran away. And then just plan your story a couple pages at a time. I'll be back tomorrow and I will share what I came up with my story and decide whether I've done a great job or if I need to add some more information. So go off, write a story, have a lot of fun with it, and I will check in with you tomorrow. Bye!